happened to Société Générale, and also what's been happening in other companies as we kind of figure out how could something like this happen. And joining me this morning is Alison Stewart-Allen, Director of International Marketing Partners. Alison, thank you for being here. Interesting development in the Société Générale story. Ethics, obviously a hot topic. Is it being taught in schools or not?
Well, it is being taught in some schools, and in some schools it's more structured than in others. There's a recent report about a program that's being sort of launched by an American team who have the interest of Yale and who have the interest of lots of American schools at the minute, and also, interestingly, the interest of Chinese and Indian business schools. Now, you would have thought, given the recent history here in Europe of Société Générale, as you mentioned, obviously we have the Siemens meltdown. We have Barings ING. Yep. So actually a lot of things are going on this side of the Atlantic where ethics ought to be more structured and on the curriculums of the leading European business schools in a more intentional way. And I'm not so sure they're there as a required course on their programs.
Well, what are we talking about? Either you know right from wrong, you make a conscious decision to do what you do. How is teaching going to prevent that?
Well, what teaching ethics really does is it allows people to have a forum and a debate about what you actually do when you're in a situation that's causes you conflict. So as a whistleblower, potentially, you're a business student and you see things going on in your organization that you need to report on. Now, obviously, interestingly, this side of the Atlantic, where job security is generally higher, you would have expected that much more whistleblowing goes on because you don't have to worry that you're going to get fired, unlike maybe in the U.S. where people are more concerned about losing their jobs for whistleblowing. So you would have thought, ironically, you would have much more about ethics. It doesn't seem to be working that way, or you're not hearing about a resurgence of ethics courses at business schools.
Now, I understand it's not so black and white, knowing right from wrong. There's a lot of gray areas, and that's where the problems lie. Correct?
Absolutely. The problems do lie in the fact that when you're faced with a situation where you see someone breaking the law or you see unethical behavior in your company, it isn't about, gosh, you know, this is clearly unethical. The issue is, what do I do about it? And one of the things that you need to make sure that business practitioners at business schools and beyond know about is know what to do. Recognizing unethical behavior isn't hard. That's not the issue. The issue is knowing what to do about it.
And people are very hesitant, for the most part, you talk about whistleblowing, to speak up.
Very much so. And I think that the part of the problem is the fear that, you know, it's going to damage my reputation professionally. I don't know who I should go to. Do I go to HR? Do I go to the CEO? Who do I turn to report this unethical behavior that I'm seeing? And so that's the other part of the problem.
Especially if you're acting on the orders of your boss.
Absolutely, if you're acting on the orders of your boss. You know, there are hotlines, just like in the U.S., where you can call and report unethical behavior. The London Stock Exchange, for example, has a hotline to report that. But is that really enough? Is that really going to achieve anything? I'm not so sure.
Very interesting. So do you think we will see a resurgence here in Europe of ethics teaching?
I sure hope so. There's enough, there are enough things going on here, you know, the Société Générale issue to drive the interest, yes.
Very interesting. Alison Stewart-Allen, thank you so much for coming in today.
You.
Your timing couldn't have been more perfect with all the news.